p.m. Eastern on the Sire Studios digital network. That's SireDigital.com or secretsofthesire.com. You can find us on YouTube.com/Sire Studios, Facebook.com/Secrets of the Sire, and Twitch.tv/Secrets of the Sire. This podcast immediately goes up on all known and relevant podcasting apps, including Apple Podcasts, Spreaker, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Anchor, and more. Immediately after this live stream, you can find us on the Castworks Comedy Network. Tonight, we go bouncing the Super Bowl trailer game. We are going to preview Birds of Prey. The reviews are in and there. And we'll also preview Oscar night and do a little deep dive into that Joker nomination with that Kevin Sharp, who is our guest tonight as we spin the comics to movies racks. I'm your host, Michael Dolce, and as always joined by my co-host extraordinaire, Mr. Hassan Godwin. How are you doing, sir? Did you watch the ball game?
Oh, man.
Now, do you realize this was a year ago when you announced to everyone that you refer to the Super Bowl, which happened on Sunday, as the ball game?
It is a game that is played with a ball. It's a ball game. It is accurately defined as a ball game. It is maybe in the parlance of sportsdom. It is probably it's taboo to refer to it as a ball game. But from people on the outside perspective, it's a game played with a ball. The ball is essential to the operation of the game. Yeah. Therefore, it is a ball game.
Are you in favor of the Super Monday holiday petition that's going along? That making Super Monday a holiday, like a federal holiday, so people don't have to go to work?
I'm sure. Anytime you get it. Or the other thing going around that they want to put the Super Bowl on a Saturday.
I'm kind of like, I'm more for, I am more for the Super Monday than I am the Super Saturday. Yeah.
Wonder why? That's odd. How strange. How strange.
I feel like, I don't know. I feel like it just makes more sense. All right, well, aside from...
It makes more days off. That's what it makes.
Aside from the game, which a sports fan like me can enjoy,
Did
our
you watch
audience...
The game? You watched the game?
Of course, yeah, I watched the game. Here's the thing, though. I'm a Jets fan. I had no dog in this race. There was no Patriots to root against this year, thank God. But part of me also wishes there was somebody to root against. I have no dog in the fight. I don't hate either teams.
Easier to root against someone than to root for someone, right? Because
no. It's okay. It's easier because then you just sit there and go, if they don't win or if they do win, like whatever, it's not your team. It's not as crushing as if your team lost. So yes, if you were a 49ers fan, crushing defeat that they were up 10 in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
And that sucks.
Yeah.
If you
there were people at my gathering who had intricate reasons for rooting for the 49ers.
Yeah.
And it was heartbreaking watching the game, the 49ers, and themselves crumble into despair as things kind of got.
I agree completely. I think that's I think that it is a lot easier to root against than it is to And I didn't do any gambling this year too. I noticed that was a distinct absence from my Super Bowl enjoyment.
That's like maturity.
No, it has nothing to do with maturity. I completely forgot that there's boxes and things like that. And I used to do a Super Bowl party. We don't do that anymore with the kids. Now it's just a buddy of mine come up and so there was just too much going on.
It's not maturity, it's senility.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
All right. Well, it's getting older, one way or the other. You're right. We could chalk it up to to becoming more of a seasoned human being.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna revert back hopefully as soon as humanly possible because gambling does make the game more interesting because then all of a sudden you're rooting for yourself.
If you got
and there is
money.
Nothing better. There is no one I like rooting for more than me.
Strangely, that makes a lot of sense there. I'm kind of worried about myself now.
Yeah.
As I go along with that weirdness.
There's nothing weird about it. It's totally true.
There's plenty weird.
Super Bowl is a great opportunity for movie companies. It's a great opportunity for the commercials.
So they say. So I've heard this.
Overall, in general, the Super Bowl on Sunday hit all the high marks for me. Even the halftime show I was a big fan of, which I normally am not. I thought that was great. Yeah, I thought the commercials, right? The commercials themselves, before we get into the movie trailers and things like that, the Park the Car with Chris Evans,
Yeah, you know what? Strangely
unbelievable.
enough, I'd seen that maybe a week prior.
Yeah, they released them early now, which is
on YouTube.
Silly and insane.
It is. That was terrible.
Yeah,
it was very funny. I knew it had to be a special commercial, like a special event commercial because of the star power that was in the commercial in and of itself. But I enjoyed it. I enjoyed that one.
The big winner for me was the Bill Murray Groundhog Day one.
Yeah.
To me, I thought that was
pretty good.
In an age where they reboot or sequelize everything, and we sit there and say, I don't need to see this sequel. I don't need to see this. This one was just perfect because it's not real, obviously. It's not a true sequel. But it was a nostalgic...
a substantial amount of
That's what I'm saying. It was a nostalgic romp. It was a 2-minute revisiting of something that is just amazing with a clever little spin on it. Great incorporation of the actual product in the commercial as well, too. It was literally like watching a sequel to Groundhog Day for a brief 30 seconds, and I thought it was that was my winner.
Yeah. I even enjoyed the lead-in to the opening, to the opening volley of the game with the commercial with the kid who was running, past. Oh my God, a rogues gallery of celebrities, sports celebrities, and actual celebrities, and it started off as a commercial, and it ended up he ended up running on the field at the beginning of the game, to hand off the ball. I thought that was really well done. That was delightful. There's a lot of stuff that would be my description of the commercials for this Super Bowl. Again, there were not a lot of them that were like these weird esoteric kind of weirdness where the jokes don't land, or they're far too inside baseball for anybody outside to get. A lot of them were just kind of delightful, like the Subaru commercial was delightful. The Smart Pack, it was very delightful. A number of the other commercials, the Groundhog's Day commercial was delightful. It was like, all right, I know what they're trying to say. I know what's going on. It's landing. It's Bill Murray, so he's proven he's still got it, even only for 30 seconds. You still have to have that magic if you can make 30 seconds, a Bill Murray 30 seconds, know? So, So the previous years have been kind of hit or miss, but this one was mostly delightful,
Yeah, I agree. I agree 100%. Now, movie studios, for the most part, actually kind of shied away. Netflix was absent completely. They're wondering if it's just because they did not have anything suitable to promote, or if they're actually saying that their sales have declined. Hasn't declined. Their U.S. sales have kind of peaked, and their international subscriptions are what they're going after. So why waste the money on, a domestic event like the Super Bowl when you could pump that ad dollars in somewhere else?
Like the comic book industry talking about narrowing down that it's the same. It almost sounds like the same kind of spin.
Yeah,
like everything is fine. We're just changing our entire business profile.
Yeah,
to accommodate the new market. You know,
but
weird.
That being said, there still were a bunch of trailers that dropped. We're not going to do a huge trailer truth or trash on all of them because it's just too much. That could literally take up an entire episode. We've got Birds of Prey and Oscars to dive into later. Mm-hmm. But James Bond, Top Gun, Black Widow, those were the big three. Fast and Furious also, dropped as well too. For our intents and purposes. Oh, and the promo for Disney Plus, which we'll get into in a second afterwards. But let's stick to the movies for a second. Out of those 4 trailers, which one caught your eye the most? Bond, Top Gun. No, Top Gun is not a comic book movie, but we're just throwing it in there because it was all grouped into the Super Bowl. Black Widow and Fast and Furious, F9.
I gotta say Top Gun. Top Gun, really. Just because it was nice, short and sweet. It was another 30-second hit. Yeah, it was a last-minute addition to the Super Bowl that I heard, the way I understand it, and it's just it's Tom Cruise who genuinely is in the cockpit of a jet. So I'm like, all right, I'm sold. I'm looking forward to seeing it. I would have to say that the one I want to see most is probably James Bond.
I'm glad you said that, James. So it's interesting to see James Bond actually in this particular iteration, and I'll tell you why. When I first started the show, the very first topic, and this is 2016, so this is, I don't think Me Too actually had happened officially just yet, but definitely there was a big push, and this is pre-Donald Trump being elected too, so this was interesting. One of the topics was how ancient the idea of James Bond as a character is, and so that was the very first episode of Secrets of the Sire, was talking about, the relevancy of a James Bond character. So fast forward 4 years later, it's kind of interesting to actually now see a new James Bond movie post Me Too, post what we've kind of gone through as a country as a whole in the next 4 years. And to again ask the question, is James Bond relevant? Now, I mean, obviously, seated next to him is an African-American woman who is going to take a huge role in the franchise going forward. The Broccoli's have since commented on this question. So to actually see it up there, to see how it's been kind of updated, it gets me excited. Like I'm excited to see what this movie eventually becomes 4 years later after the last one came out.
Well, James got he got Me Too. Like he got kind of affected by it. I mean, because if you look at Casino Royale and then Quantum of Solace, the direct sequel to Casino Royale, they're both about one woman. Yeah, he's not philandering, in that kind of and he's hung up on this. He's actually fallen in love, lost love. And is embittered by having lost the love that he lost. Skyfall's more about him, him finding out about his past and himself, that kind of thing. So, but there's really no love interest that much in Skyfall at all. There's not a lot of not a lot of philandering. And then he falls in love again in oh my God, what's the last one? What was the previous one? What was the name of the previous one?
That's how
Casino Royale, the
Quantum of Solace, Skyfall. Wasn't
Skyfall?
I guess this is the fifth one, isn't it now?
Yeah, because this one is No Time to Die. Darn it.
Let's see.
And it's a Bond relevant title with Blofeld.
Spectre.
Yes. Yeah. That's why I knew it was Bond relevant. Spectre, which is, most people's least favorite, I think.
Yeah, it really was. I mean, it was so nondescript. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was such a.
It was a good movie. I have to see it again because I saw it once, I think, and I didn't not enjoy it, but it didn't really move me too much. So I have to watch it again. But a lot of people are saying that it took a large step down from Skyfall. Which was Skyfall even wasn't really my favorite of them all, but Skyfall is definitely the benchmark of the Daniel Craig James Bond.
Yeah. You think so? I think Casino Royale to me was such a brutal reimagining.
I'm not talking about which ones you like. I mean, Skyfall's the one that blew up. That one's that's an unequivocal success. That's
good point. Good point.
For I remember Skyfall. I was like, oh well. And the thing I didn't like about Skyfall personally was that it kind of took a weird turn. Because the first two were about him being a new young agent. Just starting out on his career, and he's already kind of burned out by the third movie. Yeah. Now you can argue their lifestyle is really hard and it burns people out very, very quickly, which is fine. But I kind of, I found it a little jarring. I do like Skyfall a lot. Yeah. I do like it. I like all of them. I like Daniel Craig in the role a lot.
Love Daniel Craig in the role. Yeah.
Why I want to see this next one. But to your point, to wrap it up again, it did go through an evolution, right? In order to be relevant. They turned him into a a man into monogamy, like to
Right.
such an extent that he is embittered. And because I mean, it seems like
it drops an
trope,
explanation, right? It drops an
yeah,
explanation for the for the philandering. As I like
exactly.
I like that. I like that better than womanizing. Now, Black Widow, very low on my totem pole chart. Even though they do have that cool scene at some point. We all have to choose between what the world wants you to be and who you are. That kind of thing was kind of cool. But it's nothing new, and also we don't really know the relevance to Phase 4 that this movie's really going to play. I mean, there's theories about the sister and this and that, and you don't get anything from the trailer, so it's not as if I'm watching that going, boy, I can't wait to see, how this impacts X, Y, and Z. I'm looking at it more like this still looks cool. I'm still looking forward to it. I'll see you in May. The Marvel stuff that did catch my eye though was the promo for Disney Plus, which is just awesome because it's right in our living room, which is just fantastic.
Yeah, I know we don't have to go anywhere to see any of this stuff.
Did you catch? And I didn't when I first saw it. It took until I rewatched it on YouTube. Scarlet Witch in full Scarlet Witch.
Yes. Regalia, yeah, in the comic book Scarlet Witch regalia.
That was pretty cool, right?
I'm on the fence about WandaVision. Now, I'm thinking it's going to have to be like I'm thinking what's going to happen here is it's going to be like Heath Ledger's Joker, right? Because when I first heard about Heath Ledger's Joker, I was
okay.
What? This is, and then it hit me. I'm like, wait a minute. This must mean that Heath Ledger is so freaking great at this role that they had to give it to him because he's so outside of the Beltway when you think of actors who could probably play the Joker. He must have blown them away. So what I'm thinking is this idea for WandaVision is so outside. It's just so out there that it's got to be.
It is I love stuff that's off the rails. Like I love it. I really do. I love stuff that, in a good way, right, is off the rails. The fact that she's dressed up in like these, I'm only a little worried. Here's a theory that I know is wrong.
The nothing is real aspect of I can't stand that kind of storytelling, that nonlinear storytelling.
Theories sure to go wrong. They're trapped in arcades, mastermind workshop, whatever that is. Right?
Sure.
Right? I don't know. It's not going to happen. But they just got the X-Men license back, so maybe. No, it looks off the rails.
And she's a mutant, so
she's a mutant.
She is very much part of the X-Men.
So there is an aspect to it where I think it's going to be fantastic. I think Falcon and the Winter Soldier is going to be more of that straightforward we're gonna I
thought the imagery from that was great. Finally, some real imagery and not like a lot of these fake or foisted concept art pieces and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, all looks good. And Loki, like you got nothing from that. Like absolutely nothing.
And he's in a prison outfit or something. I mean, who knows? The funny thing is. Well, you know what, though? See, that's where Marvel's smart, though. They devoted the most of that promo shot to the stuff that has the most questions, right? That leaves you wondering, what the F is going to really happen here. Meanwhile, they're like, Tom Hiddleston, Loki, enough said.
Yeah,
I don't need to go any further.
You'll love him, you'll go see him.
You got to see Sam Wilson throw the cap shield. You get to see Winter Soldier emptying bullets in front of somebody's face.
Quit crying. These movies are coming. These shows are coming. Quit your crying.
Let us know what you think. Let us know about the ball game, I should say. Let us know which commercials you love the most, which trailers. Comment in the Facebook feed. We will get you right back. When we come back, I'm going to let Hassan choose. It's either a Birds of Prey preview or it's an Oscars preview. One way or the other, we'll be previewing either of those when we come back. Check out the all-new Sire Studios website, SireStudiosInc.com. Find all your back issues for The Sire, Mainstream, Undone, and more. And be on the lookout for news and announcements, convention appearances, and brand new podcasts coming to Sire Studios. That address again is SireStudiosInc.com. Welcome back to Secrets of the Sire. Secrets of the Sire is brought to you by all of our beloved patrons. That is dedicated fans, Tom Osa, Einar Peterson, Matt Byer, Ashley Haikai, our executive producer, Brian Phillips, Steve Hovecki, our super duper producer, Stephanie Dolce, and our Uber fan, Christina Dolce. Go to patreon.com/Sire Studios. We did make the switch over to the new URL, so please take note, patreon.com/Sire Studios. We are actually unveiling a whole bunch of really cool artwork, exclusive artwork for some projects that are coming up this year. And you can also get in on the podcast stuff. Go to patreon.com/Sire Studios. All right, Hassan, tossing it out to you. We've got Birds of Prey review. The reviews are in and they're good. That's a tease. Or Joker preview, the Oscars preview with Joker. I got a great article I found. Which one you want to go into?
Let's hear about what they're saying about the Joker for the
Okay.
Oscars preview. All
right. So first of all, this is from the New York Post. Joaquin Phoenix is front running, and that they are just based off of the award ceremonies that have come before. It is almost like a 95% lock. He is going to win Best Actor for his role in Joker. Out of all the nominations, 11 nominations total, I think we can both agree that's a well-deserved win if he does indeed win. Not to say that the other actors weren't good. His performance, though, I think is the one thing that carries this film. He's in every single scene. He's an unreliable narrator. He is someone you can't take your eyes off of. Agree? Disagree?
Joaquin Phoenix?
Yeah.
Joaquin Phoenix, yeah. I agree.
Okay. All right. So that's the first thing. That's not the article I found. Found this on CBR.com. It says Logan deserved as much Oscars love as Joker has received. With its 11 Oscar nominations, Joker provides proof that comic book adaptations occasionally, but not often, receive award recognition outside of technical categories. And then scrolling down, while this movie was a critical and financial success, before we get into that, however, it's not the first comic book film to receive Oscar buzz. Dark Knight was nominated for 8 Oscars, with Heath Ledger winning a posthumous award. Black Panther scored 7 nominations. And meanwhile, there's Logan, the first comic book movie nominated for Best Adapted Screenplay, a film that deserved more love from the Academy. It goes into detail about what Logan was. I'm assuming our audience here, if they haven't seen it, they're not our audience.
The heck with them.
It goes on to say, though,
you don't deserve to know about it if you haven't seen it.
While this movie was a critical and financial success, it received only 1 Oscar nom, which a few years ago wasn't much of a surprise since they rarely get nominated. Though Logan didn't even get nod in the categories of sound editing, visual effects, it got snubbed all around. Logan should have received more attention from the Academy, especially in comparison to the most nominated film this year, Joker. Both films reimagine the superhero genre. Joker is a villain's origin story disguised as a Scorsese film, while Logan is a chase through the Wild West circa 2029. Both films star broken, societal outcasts who watch over a mentally deteriorating senior. These characters also have manic breaks and resort to graphic violence as a form of release and justice. Furthermore, both characters require the respected actors to go through physical transformations. Why did Joker... I'm not going to ask why Logan didn't get it, because I think the time in which it came out is exactly the reason it did not get as much Oscar love. Plus, it takes place within a universe, in which case I feel as if the Oscars, the Academy, is not necessarily going to take it as seriously as Joker, which was a standalone piece. But why did Joker get the kind of love, in your opinion, that it did from the Academy?
I think because there was a pity campaign engaged by the director prior to the movie coming out, which made overt political statements, which kind of kick-started counterculture, interest in the film. I also think two-prong. The movie Joker had an overt message to it, a social commentary message that let's say Logan didn't actually have. Well, Logan had it, but it's well hidden in the text. Logan, as opposed to on the nose with the Joker. And then on top of it having a message, it overtly expresses that message verbally at the end of the film.
Yeah.
Like, it's not subtle about how it. So everybody could follow it. Everybody knew that, there was nothing ambiguous about what Joker was.
Yeah.
I think it's, I got my personal feelings about Joker, so we don't need that. But I think
go to seekersofthesire.com and go check out our archives for Hassan's personal feelings.
Exactly.
Shameless plug.
Go back. Yeah. You're not getting it now. You got to go back and
that's the spirit. I am glad. See, look at now. You're oh my God, you're drinking the Kool-Aid. This is amazing. Like you have completely sold out, and it's taken you a while, but you've come to the dark side. I love it.
My soul is gone. My soul is gone. So I think those are the two reasons.
Yes, I have done everything.
Yeah, you shouldn't be celebrating that,
Your transformation to the dark side is complete.
You can't really go wrong with a Palpatine reference. It never gets old.
Unless you're J.J. Abrams.
It always works.
Oh. See what I did there?
Yeah, I saw that. All right, but that's what I think.
This guy on fire.
I don't think you can be esoteric.
Yeah.
I think if you're making an allegory, unfortunately, even though artistically everybody loves it when you don't express what the allegory is about and let everybody figure it out, I think you get further by just telling everybody, "Oh yeah, this movie is about suffering and indecency and the apathy that people have, and how you push people too far and then they can bounce back." There's also a lot of masturbatory fantasy about getting even with people who oppressed you and the downtrodden. Everybody in our society has delusions of that kind of fantasy. My issue with it being a milestone in the comic book genre is that the director overtly said he was trying to make a real movie disguised as a comic book movie.
Yeah.
So he's just as much in the Scorsese blasphemy zone as Scorsese was, but he gets a pass because his movie made $1 billion and The Irishman did not make $1 billion. So
we don't know. We don't know what, because it's on Netflix.
Well, yeah, because we don't have the metrics for it. So obviously, The Irishman was a success. It was a great success for him. It is not a diminishment. It is not a step down for Scorsese. But we don't have the numbers. The Joker is clearly, along with the fact it's a sleeper hit, it's a come from behind kind of barnstorm. So
it is. It's a truly amazing,
movie,
right?
So I mean, there's a lot that was standing against it that they kind of overcame.
Do you know what's funny? You bring that up, and I think a movie like Joker doesn't have the success. Not that it doesn't get made; it gets made. It doesn't have the kind of success it has unless you have an Aquaman to basically kind of say we're not going to,
these movies are worth it. Like,
I'm trying to think. Wonder Woman, no, but Wonder Woman came out before JLA, right? Before Justice League.
Yes.
So Wonder Woman,
Wonder Woman was a success.
It was, but you were still watching. You were still watching Wonder Woman, thinking, "Great, now I'm excited to see Justice League and how they tie the universes together." Blah blah blah. Aquaman was the first movie where DC kind of said,
Justice League.
Correct, like where DC's like, we give up trying to be Marvel. And without that happening, I don't think you go into Joker with the same kind of expectations. If you're going into Joker, let's say after Wonder Woman, you're actually I think you're going into it with a lens of how does this connect to the rest of the DCU. Even though they say it doesn't, I know it does, and we know it doesn't. I feel as if
I agree.
Expectation is completely different. Based off
so I think that Wonder Woman 1984 will be the benchmark then, right?
Yeah.
We'll find out. It'll be the post Justice League post setup movie.
Yeah.
It'll be it'll be a character movie, kind of like Aquaman.
Yeah.
Which one of my few correct predictions, I predicted Aquaman was going to do really well.
Well, we already knew it would. James Cameron, Vinny Chase, you can't go wrong. One of the good commercials.
It could have gone wrong. Look at Terminator.
One of the best commercials too was the Charlie Day Always Sunny in Philadelphia, where he was spotted in other commercials. The Doritos, but not the Doritos. Yes. Sorry, the Tide commercial where he was spotted. That was another one good one. Super Bowl man really racked it up.
What is this? That's not even a segue.
No.
Segue to that. That's a misfire. That was a synaptic
No,
misfire.
you mentioned Wonder Woman 1984. He popped up there too. You didn't see that one?
No, I didn't see him pop up.
Oh, yeah. No, they show a scene from Wonder Woman 1984 where she's in the mall and she's got the lasso and then she comes up and she's like, deal with that later.
Oh, yeah, okay. Do you think she was actually there, or was that just a tooled clip?
I don't know.
Yeah, that's a tooled clip, I think.
I think so. I think it has to be, right?
Yeah.
I think so.
It's all right if it is, but I don't think she actually stopped into. You know what?
The one thing. Anytime I see it,
Gal Gadot, man, I got to tell you, when they announced that she was going to be Wonder Woman, I was like, her, the chick from Fast and Furious, that doesn't fit at all. It doesn't. Yeah. She doesn't. And the minute she put the costume on, the Wonder Woman costume, and even in Batman v Superman, which is a movie that's troubled. It's a troubled film. It's a heck of a film. Very troubled. She showed up as Diana, and I remember going, "Oh, that's why."
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah.
That's Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
And I think that's just like Hugh Jackman. It's just amazing casting. Like, okay, that's perfect casting.
Right.
And Jason Momoa has convinced me.
Did not like his commercial. Did you see his commercial?
Yeah, where he
I love the idea of his commercial. The execution of his commercial kind of weirded me out. Didn't need to see obviously not his arms, squiggly arm.
My friend Rosemary was like, "This is unacceptable," because she's a woman.
They should have what they should have done is gotten an entirely different actor, another famous actor.
I don't
like
know
he can rip it off and be that famous actor who's like it could be Danny DeVito. Like, wouldn't it be amazing if he like ripped it off and it's like, now I get to be myself and it's Danny DeVito on stilts or something like that? To me,
I don't know. I mean, it is what it is.
And then he's sitting there with Lisa Bonet after. Come on, I
could take it or leave it.
Hire us. Hire us right now. All right. Real quick before we go to break. I already know your answer, probably. What's the better film in 30 seconds or less between Joker and Logan? What's the better film? Not the one you enjoyed the most. Yes. Not the one you enjoyed the most. Because I think I enjoyed Logan more than I enjoyed Joker. What's the better film, though, between the two?
I honestly do think Logan is a better film.
Okay.
Logan's multifaceted. It's got layers. It's got a 3-act structure. It doesn't rely so much on. I mean, look, Joker is carried by Phoenix.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, Logan is carried by the text and the actors.
Mm-hmm.
Joker is carried by one guy.
Yeah.
You don't have Phoenix. Phoenix doesn't give that command performance. That movie goes nowhere.
Yeah.
So I honestly think that Logan is a better film.
Okay. I'm going to actually disagree, and I'm going to go Joker simply for the fact that I feel like Logan eventually whereas I think Joker, kind of spins to a natural progression in terms of what ends up happening and how the zeitgeist kind of forms around him, and whether or not it's real or not, we don't know. We still don't know. I feel like it's still very contained in the presentation of the film. Logan, I feel like eventually spins off into just a comic book movie. Like, it starts out as this really gritty thing, and then when they're racing to get to the border, where I'm sitting there going like, why are they like? What's so important about this border? Like, if they step over, like, are they not going to get shot? Like, is there the action there was?
Well,
there was a piece of it where it eventually goes from what it could be what it started out being into just normal fodder.
Does that pertains to it being a better film or not, or just better why you liked one story over the other?
No, to me, because I enjoyed Logan more. I enjoyed Logan more than Joker. I can rewatch Logan. I don't ever need to see Joker ever again. It was the experience of watching it. I think, like you said, it's the experience of watching Joaquin Phoenix. But if I look back objectively, I look there and go, Joker's a better film. Logan is a good film, just not as good. That's my humble.
Of course opinion. It is, because I do not agree.
Speaking of good films, Birds of Prey. The reviews are in, and they are when we come back. And we're back. Welcome back to Secrets of the Sire, talking comics, movies, TV, and pop culture. I mean, just chock full of good stuff to talk about. Coming out this week, I think tomorrow, right? Thursday, tomorrow, it's coming out, is Birds of Prey. Or Friday, I guess, February 7th is the official release, but I guess those Thursday midnight shows. First reactions actually were spilling out at the very tail end of last week's show, but there seemed to be a lot of members of the press. They were able to attend early screenings, and the first impressions, surprisingly, very positive. Maybe not surprisingly, I don't know. Surprisingly to me, because Suicide Squad was not as good. This is coming from IGN.com. Many praise the film's action, how great Margot Robbie is as Harley Quinn, and how creative and inventive the latest DC film is. The roundup on Twitter, you had IGN's Jim Voda said, Birds of Prey is fun, probably the most and best choreographed fight scenes of any DC movie, and yet another great turn by Margot Robbie. Ewan McGregor is hilarious, scenery-chewing scene stealer as Black Mask. I also enjoyed the non-linear approach to the story. Not all the characters pop, but overall it's a very entertaining romp. It's also totally a sequel to Suicide Squad, despite the standalone talk. It's just way, way better than Suicide Squad was. IGN's Laura Prudhomme also said, it's a riot oozing with attitude and some of the most inventive, bone-crunching fight sequences in the superhero genre to date. So once again, highlighting that fight sequences. IGN's Terry Schwartz liked it a lot. She also thinks this film may have one of the highest percentages of action in the modern comic book era. So it seems like there is just a ton of it. Joshua Ewell thinks Birds of Prey is like watching Amanda Conner and Jimmy Palmiotti's zaniest Harley Quinn comics come to life. And finally, there was one where even if it's not completely praising it, it's commending Margot Robbie, Ewan McGregor, and Chris Messina for their performances despite an uneven tone and pacing. So it seems like people are going into this film. One reviewer actually said I had very low expectations and came out, feeling on top. So the general consensus seems to be from critics highly positive. Where is your expectation meter for this film? And do these reviews kind of influence your expectation meter in any way, shape, or form, good or bad?
They do a little bit. I mean, they make me more prepared to enjoy, to give it 5 minutes of my time and to give it the benefit of the doubt and see it. I'm happy that another comic book movie is coming out and is not a disaster. Mm-hmm. I'm happy that there's less. We're not dealing with 90s syndrome comic book movies. If it is an intricate, non-linear romp into the criminal mind of a very famous comic book supervillain, not unlike Joker, in its weird, the weird confluence of events that has the Joker come out and then the Harley Quinn movie come out from DC. Then I think it does nothing but strengthen the genre. So I'm looking forward to it. I don't really have any skin in the game because I'm not a particularly giant fan of Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn. I like Margot Robbie a lot. Mm-hmm. I just like the original animated series Harley Quinn, and I don't think she quite captures that. Yeah, that's my preferred Harley Quinn, but I think she's fantastic, so I'm looking forward to it. A lot of John Wick references too, actually, when people are tweeting out like, "Oh, reminded me of John Wick." Katie Walsh from the LA Times says it's a totally campy and brutal carnival ride, a colorful, chaotic, and cheeky blast. For your consideration, Ewan McGregor, Best Supporting Actor. Love Ewan McGregor in this film without having seen him, just seeing the trailers for it. Like I love the casting
It feels. It's sometimes when you take an actor who you know is a great actor, and he was, of the many disagreements we have about the prequels, we both agree he was probably the best at his role in the prequels. And to kind of put him in a different shoe is kind of an awesome thing to see. Like, there's something about that where I think I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do with it. Yeah.
Which is really strange. A guy who is he's still in his prime, and he's still, and you just don't see him much. He's very low key,
Yeah.
He's very close to home kind of situation. So, looking forward to that too. Him as a villain, that's got to work.
Yeah,
that's got to be something.
It's a quick
or villain antagonist, because everybody in the movie is a villain, right?
Yeah.
So he's an antagonist.
A lot of praise for Mary Elizabeth Winstead as well too. She's getting a lot of accolades as well. I love her. I loved her in Live
awesome.
Free, Die Hard. I loved her in a lot of different films.
Scott Pilgrim.
She was in. I know Scott Pilgrim. She was great. So I again, these are kind of things where you sit there.
One Cloverfield Lane.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. Oh yeah, forgot about that one.
Yeah.
Here's my concern, though.
Fantastic.
Here's my concern. When people go on a limb to say, I love the action better be so amazing as to make up for if the story or the tone or the plotting is not good. I'll give you an example, and it's actually a bad example, but a movie that jumps to my mind when I think of action is Kill Bill Volume 1. The fight scenes with the Crazy 88s was so bananas that movie to me...
That's a good description of it.
It was, but it was so bananas that it was legendary and memorable, and it was just one of those things that will always stick in my brain.
It kind of cast a shadow on the second one, because it wasn't anything...
Right.
There wasn't an event in the second one.
No, but people looked at the second one as the more serious installment, the more quote unquote movie part of the movie. But that first one to me is always my favorite, just because that was so bananas and so out of this world. The Matrix is another one where you sit there and go, you're seeing something that's just, I mean, I guess it had been done, but not necessarily in a mainstream film before, where the action fighting sequences were so unbelievable.
The Matrix was a visual monster.
Right.
When it first came in 1999, when it first came out. I mean, if you look at the two major movies of 1999, and I love the prequels, right? You look at you got the Phantom Menace, which is very old school filmmaking, and you got the Matrix, which it revolutionized storytelling, film storytelling, and yet nothing has come close to it since. Even the Matrix sequels weren't as strong as that first movie. That first movie is just astonishing. Yeah. It really is.
Yeah.
I hate the special edition kind of controversy, but if they would go back and upgrade all those special effects for the Matrix, because some of them are little. I mean, it's not their fault. It's not the film's fault.
To. I don't think you need to. I don't think you need to touch that film.
I didn't say the word need. I said if they did.
Wouldn't be the worst thing?
It wouldn't be the worst thing for me. I would enjoy it very strongly. They don't need to do it.
Yeah.
And you can't justifiably denigrate it for having dated special effects, because it was 20 years ago, so, over 20 years ago.
Right.
So you got shut up and deal with it. It's just like watching the 1930s King Kong. It's just it is what it is, and it's great for what it is.
Mm-hmm.
But if they did upgrade those, that would still be pretty awesome. I would be all right with it.
So are we? So we're going to do our review next week, and we're going to have that Kevin Sharp on coming up next. He's going to give us a rundown of some of the comics we need to read. I also pulled up a list of my own. We're going to compare notes. We're going to have a good time spinning the racks with him. That being said, your prediction's sure to go wrong, Birds of Prey.
$1 billion movie.
Ooh.
Sure to go wrong.
I like that. I think like a 70 to $80 million opening, and I'm literally just guessing. I have no context. Usually I'll do some research. I did not do any research on this particular thing as to what it's tracking, because it's actually I want to say it's a little too early. No, it's Wednesday. The tracking numbers probably came out.
Yeah, it's Wednesday. 2 days coming out tomorrow.
Yeah, it probably came out. So, but anyway, I didn't see it, so I didn't even think about doing that beforehand.
Due diligence.
I'm going to say 70 to 80 million.
Do the due diligence.
Tracking. That's what I'm going to say.
For the opening weekend.
For the opening weekend, and I think number one at the box office 2 weeks in a row.
That's
I don't know what comes out.
I don't know what comes out
after. I don't know what. Yeah, I don't know what comes out.
It's got like Sonic, like there's not really much coming out.
Give us your
if it doesn't beat Sonic, then the heck with my my $1 billion prediction.
Give us your predictions. Sure to go wrong when we come back. That Kevin Sharp. I love just saying that because that's his Twitter handle. That Kevin Sharp. Up next, going spinning the racks. I'm everything my 19-year-old self fought hard to not be.
Yes, you are the.
It's like 19-year-old self is like.
You've become what you hate. You've become the enemy.
19-year-old self, don't sell out. 39-year-old self is like.
Sell out every night.
Out. Like, sell it out, baby.
First sign of trouble. Sell out.
Welcome back to Secrets of the Sire, talking comics, movies, TV, and pop culture every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern on the Sire Studios digital network, SireDigital.com and SecretsOfTheSire.com. We do this every week. We spin the comics to movies racks.
Spin a rack, spin that rack.
We are joined by that Kevin Sharp. I love just referring to you as that Kevin Sharp now because you have that on as your Twitter handle.
Yep. Feel free. Yes.
Awesome. You were with us when Joker was first materializing. Lo and behold, many months later, it is now materialized into the most nominated film in the Oscar contention. So we figured, why not bring you back? Let's spin the comics to movies racks with you. And,
well, I think that back in those innocent days of October of last year, which of us could have predicted not only the Oscar nominations, but the record-breaking box office total worldwide for Joker, which I thought was a U.S. movie. I mean, obviously, not. I don't mean made in the U.S. I mean, I didn't know how that would play internationally, and it's been gangbusters.
I know. So
apparently, the three of us were in the minority on this topic.
That's why they play the game. And that's my segue into Super Bowl. That was this past weekend.
That was very bad.
I thought this was a fantastic segue.
Okay. Yeah, all right. That's fine. That's fair. You're wrong, but
the problem, Hassan, is you're not a sports fan, so you.
Oh, there we go. Here comes my sports handicap again.
You don't get the reference. That's why they play the game.
You're right. I'll stop talking.
Herm Edwards. That's why they play the game. You play to win the game. No. We talked earlier. Super Bowl commercial. Actually, first of all, just in general, everything about it was great. The game was entertaining enough. The halftime show was fantastic. Like, everything was great. But then the commercials, usually there's like one or two commercials where you're like, oh man, I don't know, oh boy. But I feel like all of them were really, really on point. I think I named the Bill Murray Groundhog's Day as my favorite. Was there a favorite commercial?
I'm gonna have to copy you, Mike. That was my highlight.
Although
the Jason Momoa one was pretty funny as well.
Oof.
Except I can't tell you what product that was for.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah, because it was so jarring.
Yeah.
It was so visually jarring.
My take was
wiped your brain of all the commercial.
He should have pulled his stuff off, and Danny DeVito should have been underneath there. See, then I think
that joke's been
that's a
done
win.
To death, though.
The win.
I mean, Arnold Schwarzenegger did that joke to death 30 years ago. So no, that's where your innovation is. You're 30 years behind the trend.
Or I'm retro, and it's completely.
Yes, you're ahead of the trend again.
Right.
Yes.
Everything old is new. Again. Everything old is new.
Okay.
Now, Kevin, you actually do not watch movie trailers. So how did you make it through Super Bowl?
Okay, so let me amend that comment and say I don't watch movie trailers for movies I plan to see.
Okay. So
'Cause
did you watch any of the trailers in the Super
I
Bowl
watched
then?
the Fast 9 trailer.
Okay.
Sorry if that puts me on the outs. I haven't seen one of those movies since the first one, and that's not because I didn't like the first one. That's just not my favorite kind of action movie.
Fast 5. I recommend if there's
Can
a
I
rainy
just
day.
drop in? Can I
and
just
you've
drop
got-
in on
yes,
Fast 5?
Yes, because that was actually my first Fast and Furious movie.
Oh, okay.
I went because my wife was a big fan, and then
So,
and
yes.
It's also the first one. No, it's the
it's the
second
first one with The Rock.
Yeah, it's the second one where Walker and Vin Diesel get back together, but they
Yes.
get back together again in the fourth one.
You
So if you
know,
watch the first one, the second one, and the third one have almost nothing to do
Right.
with the first one, and then you get to the fourth one, and it's kind of a series reboot where all the original stars,
Characters, right.
I guess. Yeah, you could call them
the
characters.
characters
Yeah.
getting
All right,
technical.
okay,
Getting technical
okay,
now.
Fast
dude.
5. Fast
Technical.
5, noted.
Fast 5. Check it out. Real quick before we move on? James Wan, didn't he direct Tokyo Drift?
Or was that?
Yes.
He did, right?
I
So
think so,
future
yes.
Aquaman director. So you saw the Fast 9 trailer, but did you sneak in the Disney Plus trailer?
So I was in a room full of people, and when a movie trailer would start, I would either leave the room
Mm-hmm.
to stuff my face further, or I would look down at the floor and put my fingers in my ears.
That's the 5-year-old approach. I love it. It's good.
Yeah. So I missed the James Bond trailer.
Mm-hmm.
Once I knew what it was. I missed the Top Gun trailer once I knew what it was. And I did see the Disney Plus trailer because I wasn't aware of what that was until I was so deep into it that there was no turning back. So
Now,
I saw that.
That's technically a TV show trailer. Is there a
Yes.
difference?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is there any difference?
I've just.
Well, he
one of
wants to
those
see it.
Can you
so
reconcile it?
No, there is no experience more gratifying to me in entertainment than going into something completely cold.
Yeah. I
For
agree
instance-
with you, actually.
For instance, the movie Parasite, which may come up when we talk Oscars, I knew literally nothing about that movie other than the director and that it was from Korea.
Mm-hmm.
And that was one of the great movie-going experiences of 2019.
Okay.
And anytime I can replicate that, I will.
I don't
Anyway,
disagree.
so that's
I
a
don't
long
disagree
way of
with you.
answering. Yes, I watched the Disney Plus trailer.
So this is our take, and this was kind of interesting. All the shots, the promo shots of like Winter Soldier is whatever. Like it's great, but it's expected. You didn't see it, but the Black Widow trailer earlier it didn't really reveal anything that the first trailer didn't do, so it wasn't anything groundbreaking. And Loki literally has that one scene, and you might as well have been watching Avengers in that scene because it's no different than any Loki shot. The WandaVision stuff just has us. It looks completely bananas in a good way.
I'll say the Loki, if I had to put money on it, and this is with no talking to anybody connected, I would bet they haven't shot a frame of Loki.
Yeah.
And so that's all you had.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree.
Cap or is it Falcon and the Winter Soldier?
Falcon and Winter Soldier, yep. Yeah.
Not my two favorite characters from the MCU, but okay. The reason I have Disney Plus, besides The Mandalorian, is from the concept art of that WandaVision series that they released a few months ago. As soon as I saw what the approach was, I am in.
Yeah.
In.
Yeah.
And that trailer or those clips, whatever, wow, can't wait. Bring it. I'll take it, inject it into my veins right now.
I like it. All right. We touched upon Oscars earlier in the show, found a really great article from CBR lamenting why Logan did not receive as many, or not even as many, just did not receive more Oscar love back in the day, even though it did exactly what Joker did, which is reinvent the superhero movie, storyline by kind of just throwing it on its head. You and Hassan, not big fans of the Joker movie, though, correct?
Yes, correct for the most part.
Yeah. How shocked and what do you attribute, and this is what I asked Hassan, what do you attribute the Oscar love besides Joaquin Phoenix, who I think is very deserving? No, I don't think anybody across the board could look at his performance and not say, okay, I get it, right?
So here's my educated guess on this, is that there are certain movies that will come along where the lead performance is so dynamic and so powerful that the movie rides on the back of that performance. And I think that Oscar voters, and people talk about, oh, the Oscars want to send this message or that message, and it's completely wrong. It's thousands of people scattered all to the winds. It's not like a cabal in an underground chamber. But my point being, I think people are so captivated by the performance that the movie is pulled along with it on the coattails. And that's what I think.
That was kind of my take on it. Is that Joaquin was like carrying the entire film. He pulled the film across the finish line. Yeah,
I think you're right. So if I was filling out an Oscar ballot, I would say Joaquin Phoenix, the score, which I think is fantastic, and the production design is really good for basically doing Taxi Driver, but it's still really good. But
Taxi
I can't
Driver
really...
and the King of Comedy, a weird mashup.
Right.
Yeah. So that's my guess on that. I think that people appreciate the performance so much that the film is rewarded kind of with the fairy dust sprinkling down from the performance.
This is a question I didn't actually ask Hassan earlier, and now it's just one that kind of popped into my head. Hassan, you had mentioned that, Todd Phillips' disdain for comic book movies, he was quoted as saying, I tried to make a real movie. Do you think his disdain is actually supported by Academy members by the use of their vote here and kind of giving it that vote, kind of almost we support you in your, you have the Scorsese comments, you have all these comments coming out about it, about the current state of feature films. And this is kind of a big FU to the comic book world in a sense. Kevin, you think there's any validity to that?
Again, it's hard to know because you don't know what's going through each person's mind when they fill out the ballot. But if you sometimes these articles come out where it's like anonymous Oscar voter talks about why they chose what they chose. They usually show up around this time of year in the Hollywood Reporter and Variety, etc. I wouldn't be shocked at all if that comment was printed anonymously, what you just floated.
Oh, no, that wasn't a comment. That was just a theory I just made.
No, I'm saying, but if that was somebody's comment, I wouldn't be shocked at all.
Yeah. Hassan? How brilliant's your co-host? Come on.
Look
at this guy. I got it. I figured it all out.
we did like a weird expose on the Academy Awards a year ago, like 2 years ago. So prior to that, I would agree with you. But the way they choose these things are so haphazard and so inside baseball kind of lobbying and weirdness that goes on that you can't really know. It's almost like your studio has to do due diligence to get the work in the hands of the Academy way back at the production stage.
Yeah.
And then it's not like an Academy of experts gets together in a room and watches a bunch of movies.
No.
It's totally not like that. So
I actually just saw like a comment that said like a lot of people are saying the reason why Greta Gerwig didn't get a nomination was that most people just didn't even see Little Women. Like they just didn't even bother to see it.
So then there goes your theory.
I can tell you this.
Maybe.
I can tell you this firsthand, and I'm not going to name names, but it'll still work without it. There are two older movie stars who I personally know of who, when an Oscar ballot comes in, don't even touch it because they haven't seen most of the movies. Give it to an assistant, give it to a wife, give it to a whatever. Just say, hey, you see a lot of movies, you fill this out. So you don't know actually who's even voting.
Yeah.
What's so surprising about that is I have a really good friend who was co-creator of Descendant with me, and he watches every single movie, and I'm sitting there going like, man, I would love to be involved in the movie business, but do I have to watch every he literally watches. So he must be the abnormality. He's the exception to the rule, apparently.
It's hard to imagine
I'd
that
everybody in Hollywood.
Yeah, everybody in the Academy has a streaming channel now where they can screen all of these. You don't even have to leave your couch.
Yeah.
It's hard to believe you can't at least watch the Best Picture nominees and form an opinion.
Yeah.
That doesn't seem like a lot of work.
Well, everybody's a little too self-important to do pretty much anything, that doesn't have anything to do with their
show.
Yeah. Yeah, I can testify to that.
All right. We got one aside. So this is just a jam-packed weekend, which is fantastic. Coming off the Super Bowl as well. We got the Oscars coming up, which is going to be great and exciting. What's real quick? We didn't actually do, which is our actual Oscar predictions. Sure to go wrong. So Kevin, I'll leave it up to you. Your Oscar predictions sure to go wrong.
Oh, how many categories do I have to do?
Oh, just take your pick of your favorite one.
Oh, Parasite's going to win Best Foreign Film.
Yeah, I think that's a given. I think you're right.
I hear so much chatter about 1917 as Best Picture, but I would not be shocked if somebody said Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
You think so? I think
I'm not predicting that. I'm just saying I wouldn't be shocked.
Yeah. Okay.
I agree with you, but he already won Best. I mean, he could do it. Tarantino could pull an upset, but he won for Django. Didn't he win Best Picture for Django?
No, Best Screenplay.
No.
Best Screenplay. But I mean, okay, so he won a major Academy Award for a movie previous.
Yeah.
So,
it's not like he's been locked out.
So let me ask you guys.
I think 1917 is the darling. As far as that doesn't necessarily mean it will win. I'm not saying that's what the one will win, but you could always tell which one is the darling, which one is the one that everybody suspects is going to be the one that to carry itself across the finish line.
Would you guys be surprised or not surprised if Joaquin Phoenix won the Oscar?
I would be shocked if he didn't.
Because
he has cleaned up every single award show.
Yeah.
Like there is no.
And he's the only one who deserves it.
Yeah.
For that movie.
Yeah.
Everybody else. That movie. I don't think that movie deserves that many accolades. I think he deserves the accolades.
Which would be 2 actors having won Academy Awards for playing the Joker.
I know.
Bizarre. What a world! What a world!
Which completely makes Jared Leto look
terrible.
Like, it look really bad.
Just absolutely terrible.
Because Joaquin snuck up from behind Jared and stole the Joker role, and then won an Academy Award for it. That's kind of cool.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Speaking of the Suicide Squad and Jared Leto, so we've got Birds of Prey coming out. Comic book expert behind the scenes. That's what we're dubbing you. So
Are you dubbing me behind the scenes, or I'm an expert behind the scenes?
Neither. No, I don't know. No,
Okay.
I'm just kidding. Birds of Prey. So I found this as well too. I found 10 essential comics to read before the new movie comes out.
Okay.
But what series do you think is quintessential reading so that folks can get acclimated, even though this movie really has nothing to do with Birds of Prey?
Right. So the problem is that most of the Birds of Prey series over the years, and it's been started, rebooted, ended, relaunched, rebooted, ended, relaunched, etc. It's a team of heroes. The only constant are Batgirl and
Oracle?
Black Canary.
Oh, Black Canary. Okay.
Oracle / Batgirl, because it's sometimes the same person.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's a different Batgirl. It's hard to explain to people because Harley Quinn it seems like a mashup of 2 different series, which is Gotham City Sirens, which is a villain team, and Birds of Prey, which is a hero team.
Yeah.
So there's not a direct corollary where you could say, oh, if this movie looks good to you, go read this. They were supposed to be launching a new Birds of Prey book with Harley Quinn around this time, and I know it's been delayed, and I don't know if it's still on the schedule or when it's coming out. But I'm curious, what were the 10 essential recommendations?
So this one had Birds of Prey, Black Canary, and Oracle. This is a one-shot, and it brought Dinah Lance, Black Canary, back to superheroes. It's Chuck Dixon and Gary Frank, 2 of my favorite creators, and it kicked off the beginnings of the team here, and it's a must-read for fans looking to explore the origins of the team.
Yeah, that's the very first run. Chuck Dixon was the creator of the original
Chuck Dixon took the entire subset of Batman characters and ran wild with them in the 90s. And that was when I was actually reading any of the DC, Batman characters, was when he was writing them. He's phenomenal. Harley Quinn, previously mentioned, Robbie will be reprising her role. The character has never actually been a member of Birds of Prey. Regardless, the film is set to explore Harley's transition into a solo anti-hero. Carl Kessel and Terry and Rachel Dotson brought Harley Quinn into the DC universe on her own, away from the abuses of the Joker in this series.
I second that recommendation.
Yeah. Gotham Central. This is the Renee Montoya Now, the funny part about Harley Quinn too, she was created for the animated series, correct?
Yes.
So is Renee Montoya, who will be played by Rosie Perez. So Gotham Central is a recommendation, so you can learn more.
So let me jump in on this real quick. Gotham Central is a great series for any. You don't even need to know anything about comics or Batman or anything. It's about the Gotham City Police Department solving cases, and occasionally Batman will appear or the Joker will appear. That I can't.
That's awesome.
I'm shocked that has not been made into a TV series because you wouldn't even need a budget. It's a cop show with occasional superhero elements. And that is a great book.
Do you know what's really funny? That combination to me would scare the bejesus out of a Hollywood executive. Like I could sit there and say I could picture a Hollywood executive being like, what do you mean Batman doesn't show up? We can't do that. Like, no. Like I guess Gotham would be the closest to it, but that went full on Bonanza.
Oh yeah,
superhero. So I feel like I don't even know if audiences are ready for something like that either. I feel like there's something about that maybe another year or two, maybe another after a flood of more. I don't know.
I think the DC Universe streaming service would be a good home for a show like that.
I could see that. All right, we got Batman Huntress: Cry for Blood, which is Greg Rucka and Rick Burchett's Batman Huntress. It's a great murder mystery. It also dives into Helena, Bertinelli, who's the Huntress. Her origins as an orphan daughter. Mary Elizabeth Winstead, who's gaining accolades from the leaked reviews.
So ready for the random trivia here?
Yes.
So Huntress originally was Helena Wayne, who was the daughter of Batman and Catwoman of Earth 2.
Oh, dear God.
And then once they got rid of Earth 2 in the continuity, they reinvented Huntress as the orphan daughter of this crime boss. So now she's Helena Bertinelli.
Okay.
And that's the version in the movies.
Okay. Oh, very, very nice. I did not know that. Did you? What did you think of the Arrowverse crisis, all that stuff? Did you consume that?
I did consume it. Did you guys watch that?
It was my first episode of Arrow ever.
I'm a lapsed fan, so I haven't seen any of those shows in a couple of years, but you know what? It really made me smile. A lot of things, but just as a quick shout out, Brandon Routh was a really good Superman.
Yeah.
His movie wasn't great, but he wasn't the problem at all.
Correct.
No, I agree.
Correct, and he got to reprise his something in that. So that
as I think the
Kingdom Come one. Yeah. One of these days, it's on my
which
queue.
Is pretty heavy. That's a heavy role right there.
Yeah, I would think so. Birds of Prey of Like Minds. It is these issues particularly focusing on Black Canary and Oracle with appearances from other Gotham characters like Catwoman and Nightwing. This is the arrival of Gail Simone and Ed Benes to the title. I think when you think of Birds of Prey, that's actually who you think of as the main creative force. Batman War Games, because it has Black Mask, Batman Mark of Cain, playing a young, Cassandra Cain, who is in the Birds of Prey movie. So that's another one where she's in there as well too. Birds of Prey, Sensei and Student rounds it out. Gail Simone and Ed Benes continue to explore the members of the team individually, with the Sensei and Student storyline diving into Black Canary's past and her relationship with Lady Shiva. So those are your 10 essentials.
So here's a scorching hot take for you.
Yeah.
I think Margot Robbie was the best part of Suicide Squad.
Scorching take.
Yeah. Not to get too controversial.
Because that film was so good.
Yeah. We'll just let some dead air hang there.
Yeah.
Much like Joaquin Phoenix and Joker, I thought she was just electric beyond the movie.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if she wasn't in Birds of Prey, what my interest level would be in this movie.
None.
But with her there, absolutely I'll go see it.
Yeah. So, all right, predictions sure to go wrong. Birds of Prey. Hassan said $1 billion movie. I said it's going to be
$70 billion, not
that's
million.
That's what I said. Billion.
You said million.
No,
now that's a hot take.
That's
it will make 1 million.
Totally hot.
1 million will be the total.
70 to 80 million opening weekend for myself. What's your prediction?
Whoa.
Sure to go wrong.
70 to 80 opening?
That's right.
Okay. I'm going to say opening will be in the 50 to 60 range.
Okay, that's not terribly. That's not hugely discrepant. That's okay.
I just think that there's maybe not enough meat on the bone for the general public who knows nothing about any of this,
Mm.
other than, don't you love this Harley Quinn character? I think this is one that will hang around longer and build rather than be a dynamic out of the gate explosion.
That's why we have you on the show, Kevin.
Yeah, it's just
That-
proven wrong.
That he said it. I didn't.
You'll know in a week. You'll know in a week how
I
much
know.
credibility I have.
I know it's pretty fantastic. All right, tell everyone where they can find you and all the cool stuff you got going on.
Okay, you can find me on Twitter, as Mike likes to say, at that Kevin Sharp.
Love it.
My baby project online is called Between the Panels. It's a comic creator interview series, which somebody on this podcast was once a part of.
It's true.
You can find that on fanbasepress.com. Around comic convention season time, I do writing for Sci-Fi Wire, but you won't find me there right now because we're in between con season. So the best place to find me is Twitter or Fanbase Press.
All right, and we appreciate you jumping on. Next week, we're going to find out just how right and just how wrong all of us were.
Yes.
As we dive into the Oscars and give you our review of Birds of Prey. We'll see you next week.
Secrets of the Sire.